If you look like after 9/11, 100,000 service members and veterans have died by suicide. This is a national tragedy. And if we don't confront it now and do something about it to reverse that trend, it'll become a national shame.
I want to support the survivors that survived their suicide attempts. I want to be here for my friends and family, but mostly for all the veterans that I served with and are affected by this.
One of the things that a lot of people want is they want a silver bullet solution to a simple problem. Suicide is not a simple problem. It's a whole range of problems, so you need a whole range of solutions.
Indeed, that was an emotional moment here in Washington Thursday. Iraq and Afghanistan war veterans sounding a national alarm about an epidemic, the epidemic of suicide plaguing our military men and women. On the Mall yesterday, vets wounded in combat and their supporters planted flags for each victim in 2014. The statistics this year alone are shocking. The Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America estimates that 22 former service members commit suicide every day in this country. That is more than 1,900 suicides this year alone, more than 8,000 estimated suicides by the end of this year. Joining me now to talk about next steps in combating this epidemic are the leaders, Tom Tarantino, Chief Policy Officer at the IAVA, and Marine Corporal Aaron Mankin, a veteran of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, wounded during an IED attack that killed 6 Marines in 2005. Welcome both. Tom, you've led this Storm the Hill charge, and what reaction are you getting from members of Congress at a time of budget cuts? We're just coming out of sequester, where the Pentagon budget is under huge pressure, but can you make the case for more mental health care for our veterans?
I'm very optimistic. We went from having a really solid handout to a bill being announced in the United States Senate in under a week. This is because there are great leaders like Senator Walsh from Montana, who this fight is personal.
He's the only Iraq veteran.
Yes, and just like us, this has happened to his friends, this has happened to his soldiers, and so he understands very viscerally why this is such a critical issue and why leadership is needed and why Congress must come together.
Aaron, you called your return home the worst time in your life. Why was it so painful? You came back to face surgery after surgery, but what was the emotional component to that?
In the nearly 9 wars, 9 years that I've been recovering now, close to 70 surgeries in that process. There's so much adaptation. You have to learn how to live life all over again, and all those expectations, all the futures that you plan for yourself. You get to reel those dreams all over again, and that's difficult, especially within a system that makes it so hard to find the care that you need when you're out there and you're looking for it. So
the VA.
Yes. Yeah.
And the backlog we've talked about before, which is just appalling. Then we had the shutdown, the government shutdown, where they lost pace in catching up to the backlog. What was the family support that you had, and how has your family helped you adjust?
When I was going through my depression and contemplating suicide, and I had my family support element. I had my family and friends there for me, and there's so many guys coming home that don't have that support, and so we want to make sure that they understand at IAVA that we're here for them. We're a resource for them. They do have someone that reaches out. They have somebody here that cares enough to be here fighting for them, to make sure that changes are made.
And did you feel support for the mission? I mean, we know what happened to the Vietnam returning vets, but did you feel that Americans support your service?
Certainly do, certainly do. And I feel like if there were 22 deaths a day on the battlefield, there would be a national outcry. Changes would be made instantaneously to get the support that we need on the field. I never ran out of bullets when I was in country, but I come here and I have needs, and I need resources to ensure that not just that I'm alive, and we do so well. Our proficiency in battlefield medicine, we have survivors in this generation that our country's never seen before, but there's a quality of living, there's a quality of life that we owe to them, that they've earned.
That you have earned. I mean, you came to my attention, our attention, because of our colleague and friend Willie Geist. You were one of his Today Show heroes for very good reasons. So what do you say to members of Congress? Let's say if I were a senator or a member of Congress, What is the appeal for mental health care and for more resources to the VA?
The appeal is long term. It's not just the effects that it has right now and the seats that they hold, but in generations to come. We're so far behind the curve in our ability to provide for all the service members who are going to be coming into the system as Afghanistan draws down and defense cuts are imminent. There's more stress going to be put on the system. We have to be sure that they're equipped for that. So they need to make choices on the long run, not just depending on where they are in their own campaigns, but this is something that affects all of us. It will for generations to come. And if we can make those changes now, then we're just that farther to meeting that obligation.
Marine Corporal Aaron Menken, thank you for your service, which continues to this day. Tom, thank you.
Thank you.
As always.